What's up? Good evening, everybody. This is the Game Tasty Show live. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday night? I am Dave the Watchman.
I am putting my headphones on. I am Jeff Roth with NerdBacon.com.
That's right. We hope you're all having a great week so far in this young week. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to hashtag us, hashtag Game Tasty, hashtag NerdBacon. Tell your friends, wake the neighbors, wake the kids and everybody. We're having a little hootenanny here.
If you're just tuning in, we are with NerdBacon.com, the tastiest place to get your gaming fix on the internet. And this is the Game Tasty Show live every Tuesday night here on Twitch, here on Mixer, here on YouTube, here on Smashcast, also on audio form on Spotify, on Anchor, on Stitcher, on Podbean, wherever you get your audio fix that's not iTunes. But we dive into our personal perspective on this industry we love so much, the world of video games, and we bring the heat. I brought the pink today. I don't know.
You're wearing pink and black. You are Bret Hart style, my friend.
But I'm not nearly as bitter. I have been, my first week and a half back in corporate America. You know, it's parts of my brain are getting turned back on. You know, like stuff that had been sitting dormant for so long and some really crappy jobs. Now I actually get to apply, challenges and problem solving into corporate America. So yeah. I've now sold out.
No, you haven't sold out.
But
you haven't sold out. You're still the same old Jeff. You're still the one-wing gamer over at Jeff Roth.
This is very true. With
a
sweet new splash screen. Thanks, Miles.
Oh my goodness, crap. Miles, you did an amazing job on his splash screen. I am super jealous, by the way.
Pretty sweet. You can see that for yourself over there on Jeff Roth on Twitch.
You should.
But there are things going through training and stuff that I want to apply to NerdBacon as a whole, and of course the Jeff Roth brand, and just more keys to success. And I'm looking forward to today's show and where you and I can lead NerdBacon into the future.
So are we saying this means more sexual harassment or less?
I'm aiming for less.
See, I was hoping for a little bit more.
I know you were, but we need to have a conference call about that, I think,
nuts,
at some point.
Nuts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. It's March 5th already. It doesn't feel like March.
Sure does not.
No, but let's go ahead. Let's start this thing off with a quick news roundup. Here's some of the stuff that broke just today across the internets.
Yes!
The discless Xbox One model that was rumored.
Tough to say discless.
Right, without an HR issue. That's the theme of tonight's show, is HR issues.
Hashtag HR issues.
So the discless Xbox One model, which was rumored back in December, I believe, over at Thurrott.com, Brad Sams is reporting, codenamed Maverick. This is supposed to be named now the Xbox One S Digital Edition. And supposedly pre-orders are going to go up next month.
Okay.
And it's going to be out in May, is what they're saying. This was picked up by Windows Central, and I think it was reported on, again, by Thurrott.com and Brad Sams. So
yeah.
He's been extremely accurate so far. What do you think of this? What do you think of the discless, the Xbox One S Digital Edition?
Again, we've always said Microsoft's kind of the eye to the future. I think the next trend in gaming will be streaming and downloading and not needing physical media. And I think this is going to be their stopgap. This kind of be their testing ground before we get to the next proper generation of Xbox, whatever that may be, the next box, the Scarlet, whatever it ends up being. This is going to be saying, hey, is this viable, or let's work out the bugs here before we go into full on that realm, because the Scarlet will have that capability. I imagine there'll be some higher end disc version of Scarlet as well, just to appease everybody.
Sure.
But I think this is kind of their testing ground, and I think this just makes sense on a business side.
I think you're absolutely right. I think there's at least 2 Scarlet models that are launched. You got your premium edition that does still have discs, but I don't think that's going to be the one pushed. I think that's going to be priced a little too high.
Sure.
And I think the main one is going to be a discless version.
And you think it's how much of that is, sure, streaming is the future, but how much of that is it more cost effective? Yeah. Now you're not printing all these discs. Now you're not going through physical certification and making all the knew the artwork was going to go away when they stopped putting manuals in games.
I miss manuals so much.
I do. I miss color manuals. Remember that time around like Xbox 360, PS3 era when like they're all black and white?
Yeah.
It was like, wow, this is cheap. It's going to be a lot cheaper because they won't exist at all. It'll just be a website, which is happening now in games, where it's like, hey, refer to this site for an online manual.
I hate that.
Granted, when's the last time you actually read a manual? Cover to cover.
Well, if they had like good manuals anymore.
Well, I would do them for like fighting games because I want to see like combos and special moves for like Tekken 2 or 3 or 4.
But that was the cool thing, like before the internet, before you had all that stuff right at your fingertips, you had to go to the manual to find out the lore of the game. Sure. Like for Street Fighter, the lore of all the characters and special moves and stuff like that. That was what the manual was for.
The art book for the original Legend of Zelda is still regarded as one of the best pieces of artwork. I mean, there's a lot of current art books today that manual from Zelda 1 is better than, and it's just, it gives you that lore. It paints that picture for you that maybe the 8-bit pixels couldn't. But, again, in the next generation, this is where we're going. I mean, we're going into a streaming dystopian future. And if it helps businesses, okay, fine. It's becoming a corporate business where gaming is. Sorry, people, it's a corporate business. So it may make financial sense, too.
You know who put those pieces together last year? Was us right here at NerdBacon.
What?
We were the first one to put the pieces together that next generation was probably going to see one or more consoles released that were going to be digital only. Yep. And I think we're going to see a digital only version of PlayStation 5 when that eventually launches. Yep. But we put that together because of the retailers, like every retailer all around the same time dropped their discount programs for new games. And that's because, as we said back like in June through August of last year, that's because the digital future was coming and physical media was going away, and they had to grab as much retailers had to grab as much revenue as they could from physical media. So it's interesting to see this come.
You can't discount physical media if there's no physical media,
right?
So yeah, this is where we're heading, like it or not, and it's going to be interesting to see where we go. And I think this will be like the first true test to see if it's feasible and if we as a gaming society will make that leap into it. Many people have done the download route thanks to Steam and Epic Game Store. PC gamers are used to just I've not bought a boxed PC game in probably a decade at this point, but we'll see. We'll definitely, and even when I do buy, I buy the World of Warcraft like super duper awesome versions because the art books and the soundtracks are amazing. But it comes with a download code. You punch in the Battle.net, you just put this code in, and okay, you have the expansion. So even then, all you're getting is a code. So I think PC gamers are used to it. We'll see if console gamers, there may be some people out there who aren't hooked up to the internet. What does this do for them? Are they now just out of luck? We'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
Or when you go to a GameStop or a Best Buy, you're buying this box that has a code in it that you punch in. I don't know. But again, you still need the internet to do that. So.
Right. I don't know what is going to happen to Best Buy will be okay. They're going to lose a huge chunk of their business, but
sure.
GameStop is so screwed.
They are, and that's why you're seeing them kind of partner up with ThinkGeek, because they actually can have physical stuff there that may keep people coming back for reasons that, hey, we don't actually, Hot Topic, you can go to Hot Topic and you get lost in there because the damn, shelves are all scrunched together. But even like these GameStop pop culture stores are popping up now.
I'm awash in a sea of goth kids. Save me.
Just want to paint my hair, make my nails black and start crying. Hey, I go there for the Bullet Club shirts, okay?
There you go.
I go there for the wrestling t-shirts. But yeah, that's why you're seeing GameStop, apply all this physical media stuff because they need some sort of revenue. Because they're going to lose physical media. But back to Microsoft, this makes business sense for them to put their toe in the water and just say, hey, is this going to work for us for the next generation?
I had a strange thought about where Microsoft might be going with Scarlet. So they've got Xbox One X, which was just introduced a couple of years ago. The most powerful console in the world.
And they were right.
Yes. They've got Maverick coming out, the Xbox One S digital edition. Do you think that once Scarlet launches, Xbox One S just gets phased out and then it's just the X and then Scarlet that are out? And here's another pickle. I hate pickles. I love pickles.
That's the worst things
No.
ever. If you pickled eggs, if you pickle things, don't be around me. Like, pickles are the worst things, and then coleslaw, and then pineapple on pizza. Just don't.
Those are all good things. Those are all good things.
I think the podcast is done now.
I think it might be. It's war. Fill your hand.
It's, Team Jeff or Team Dave on that one. I say no pineapples.
Are you with the pickle party or what?
No pickles and no coleslaw.
Oh my goodness. All right. Here's a crazy thought. So, what if the next generation of Xbox was forward and backwards compatible? So, what I mean by that is if you have a One X, you can play Xbox 2 games. It's just not going to look as good and run as well as it is on the fancy new Scarlet Xbox 2 or whatever they call it.
Sure.
But if you want the premium, like, actual next-gen experience, you go buy the new console. So it's almost like if you can buy Halo Infinite and play it on both consoles, but the best version is going to be on the new console. Sort of like if you're trying to play a game on PC and you've got, like, you know, what I've got a 1050 graphics card.
Right.
So I'm going to get a certain experience playing a game. But if somebody has a 1080 card, they're going to have a completely different experience.
Sure.
So what if Microsoft goes that route? I don't know why, but for some reason I've got it in my head that this might be something that Microsoft does.
And they should look into that, because at some point, and also you got to think about cost on the actual system. Because at some point you could just buy a good PC and then get yourself a damn good graphics card, and then you have the most powerful console, quote unquote, out there, because you can play Halo Infinite on the PC. That's the Xbox GamePass. Segue for later. But you can then play it on PC and get a better experience than you would on the Xbox One Scarlet or whatever you want to call it. So at some point we got to think, okay, when does my cost effectiveness kick in where I should just buy a PC?
Well, they're kind of doing this right now with, you know, the Xbox One models that they have. If you buy a game and play it on a base Xbox, it's going to be a completely different experience than if you play it on your Xbox One X.
Sure.
You know, you're going to have...
Which also requires a 4K TV, which I don't have.
Right.
So there's another cost of entry right there.
Still, though, even if you don't have a 4K TV, you're still going to have a little bit of a higher texture resolution.
Sure.
You're going to run games in 1080, and you're going to run games at 60 frames per second, where you may not be able to achieve that on a base model Xbox One. So they're kind of doing that right now with the mid-generation upgrade, so that's what makes me wonder, hey, can Microsoft continue that on? Because think about this. If they went that route, if games were compatible on Xbox One X, then you've already got an install base for your next-gen games of, like, you know, how many units has that sold? Like 10 million units, let's say.
Okay.
You've already got a 10 million unit install head start on anybody else.
And with the Xbox One X and, you know, the digital version of the S and then Scarlet coming out, we assume sometime in 2020, people who maybe just bought an Xbox One X are going to feel like, I just bought this, why would I want to get this? If Microsoft says, hey, we're going to bring you guys with us. You know, just because you have this doesn't mean you're not going to be able to play these. So you can play the next-gen games on this current system.
Yep.
Which I think would make total business sense.
And then if you have, like, the Xbox One S Digital Edition or just, like, a regular Xbox One S, and you have Game Pass, and then that rolls into xCloud when that launches. So Xbox One S may not be able to play, you know, Xbox 2 games, but at least you can stream those games to Xbox One S with digital. So then, with that, you expand your potential game sales to a 30 million install base right away without selling a single Xbox 2.
Well,
interesting.
I think a lot of our questions, I pop my knuckles pretty loud, I'm sure we'll hear a lot of those questions might be answered at E3.
That's right. All right,
so
let's move on. News item number 2. Do you remember back in an age of prehistory when man roamed the jungle and hunted dinosaurs? I'm talking about Turok 1 and 2, because, baby, they're coming to Switch.
Hey, look at that there.
Yeah.
I mean, Turok, the first Turok people associate with the N64.
Right.
Not just because of the awful fog that plagued the N64's lifespan, but and then didn't they try rebooting Turok a couple times, like on the Xbox 360, and this did not do very well. So, hey, I mean, great.
It's cool to see those come back. I think these are the remastered versions that came out on PC about a year or two ago.
Okay.
But those are hitting Switch.
And this is the anniversary. This is Turok's, what, 25th anniversary?
Oh, when did Turok Dinosaur Hunter come out? I want to say it was 97.
I will look that up. So
let's see. N64 came out in 96, so Turok would have had to have come out in 97, so this would be like the 22nd anniversary.
Let's see. Turok 1 and 64.
While you look that up, I'll just hit the next news item real quick.
Go ahead and do that.
Vivendi. Do we all remember Vivendi and what they were trying to do with Ubisoft? They were trying to take over Ubisoft. They're trying to take our French away from us. Not magnifique.
22 years, because Turok came out in 97. So
there we go. All right. So anyway, Vivendi was trying to take over Ubisoft. They failed. They've sold off their remaining shares, so Ubisoft has defeated that hostile takeover bid. They are now safe and still independent.
Ubisoft is.
Yeah. Congratulations, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You did it.
Division 2 coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have heard so many good things about The Division. Like,
Look,
everybody who plays it is like, this is such a solid game.
I'm really hyped as somebody who put... So, when The Division 1 first launched, it was kind of shaky. Much like another game we'll talk about here in a little bit. But what Ubisoft has always done is, over time, and they've done this with their other titles like Assassin's Creed and what have you, their future updates just make the game even better.
Sure.
And basically Division 2 is just more Division, a different landscape, which that's people who are fans of Division just want more of that. You know, don't mess with the system, just keep it like kind of like what Destiny was.
Oh yeah.
We just want more Destiny, and we got that with Taken King. Destiny 2 is just more Destiny, but Division 2 is more Division, and as fans of the series, that's what we want. So I am very hyped for this.
I'm very interested to see how it plays out.
I did not play the beta for this exact reason. I want to go in fresh. I want to go in cold. I want to go in with no expectations. I don't want to think about my pretenses before I get back into it and go into DC and start getting my level up back on. So
we have never squatted up on a game together. We need to find that game.
We need to. We've talked about that with like Monster Hunter and Dauntless and Apex Legends, and one of these times we'll actually follow through on it.
We just don't want to be friends.
And when I leave here, I don't know who you are.
That's right. All right. Now is a section called Rumors.
Yes!
Got some hot rumors here.
The Fleetwood Mac album.
All right. First one. Somebody says that there is a Nintendo Switch online direct that's incoming sometime this week. Personally, I don't know.
Don't know about that.
If there is, then what are they going to do? They're just going to announce Super NES games?
Probably. I mean, if you're going to talk about online, that's what we actually want. You can't sit there and say, hey, we're bringing these big NES games out there. Nobody cares at this point.
Yeah, I don't see them doing a direct for Super NES games.
No. Or is this where they perhaps announce that Xbox GamePass is coming to the Switch?
I don't think so. I think that's a ways off.
I think it's an E3 thing?
I think it might be farther off, actually.
Ooh.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes, we will. But yeah, if they're going to have a proper quote-unquote Nintendo Online thing, my guess is SNES games.
Okay.
And it's pronounced SNES. So
Next one. Apparently, somebody tweeted this to Maximilian Dude. Somebody caught this. But apparently, Square Enix posted an image teasing a Final Fantasy VII Remake event. So basically, it was like, revealed, Final Fantasy VII Remake, April 3rd. This was an image on Square's Twitter page, and then they took it down.
Okay.
What the hell? Could we finally be on the cusp, less than a month away from seeing Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I think so. And I say that because, these recent FF games, I think 7, 8, 9, and I think maybe 6 through 9 that came out on the Switch and Xbox One.
7 through 9, and then 12 came out.
12 came out, yeah. So they're releasing all these games right now, probably, if I was a betting businessman, to kind of whet your appetite for what's about to come.
Right.
And what better way to get... And think about this. With how well Resident Evil 2 Remake did... How great will the FF7 remake be?
Hopefully
I know
good.
It's not Capcom. I know it's Square Enix, and they have a history of dropping the ball sometimes. but people will go absolutely batshit crazy for this.
I'm ready to see something on it. It's been far too long.
Prove that it exists.
We first saw this game revealed in 2015. It's been almost 4 years.
You believe that?
I cannot believe that.
Man.
That's like a presidential term right there. 4 years. That's an Olympic space right there. 4 years. It's ridiculous. But I think you're right. I think there is something to this rumor. It just feels right. Plus, with Kingdom Hearts 3 out now, the deck is cleared. And then they just launched Left Alive, which apparently is not very good.
Did that come out?
I think that came out today.
Okay.
Yeah. I really was hoping that would be good.
I saw a trailer for that. I'm like, what is this? I've never
It's like Square Enix Metal Gear, but not as good.
Yeah.
Apparently. With the same illustrator.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But no, FF7, people would go nuts, and this is the time to do it, because what else is Square Enix doing right now?
They're doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're doing Avengers.
Yeah, that Avengers game that we think is actually going to happen.
They probably won't do anything till E3, because that'll be like right around the time that Avengers Infinity War 2 comes.
I don't think they could, like Tomb Raider, you put a pause on that for a while, don't you?
I think, I don't think the last one did very well.
No.
And I've hardly played it. I played like the first few minutes, and it's fun. It's Tomb Raider.
We're stoked to see that. It's on Xbox GamePass if you want to play for free.
I already have the PS4 version.
Well, I mean, I'm just for people who are listening, because it's more just you and me. People
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hi, people! Hi!
Other people exist.
Yeah. All right, that's it for the News Blitz.
Yeah.
Let's get
into the rumors.
Who's ready for steak? All right.
Sizzle. The bacon.
Anthem.
Yes.
Is this a disaster?
No.
News came out this week that Anthem apparently is bricking some PlayStation 4s. People try to quit out of the game, and then it just like shuts the PlayStation 4 down as if you were unplugging it, and then it goes through that rebuilding the hard drive thing and stuff like that. And then there are some instances apparently that have been reported on Reddit where it's bricked the console.
Sure.
It's just completely effed it up. How does this happen in this day and age where you have a AAA release that is so A, fundamentally flawed apparently, and B, has a bug this catastrophic?
Well, to answer the first question, is it a disaster? No. And I'll get to that later.
Oh. Well, let's answer it. Hit it now.
The game itself is not a disaster.
Okay.
And the reason why it's not is, it's not become the joke of the gaming industry. It's not Fallout 76, and I hate crapping on that team. Oof. But that's the reaction that you get when I say Fallout 76. Your gut reaction is oof.
Yep.
Not when I say Anthem. I think there is
pretty close. This is such an issue that Sony is actually offering refunds on Anthem. That never happens. The last time that happened was No Man's Sky.
True. And look where they are now.
It took them like 10 years to get back there.
I mean, I think BioWare has more resources than Hello Games.
I don't know at this point.
But is it a disaster? No. I think as far as the game itself, there is a lot to like about Anthem. It's just buried under things that will drive you insane. And, like I said, like the soundtrack is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think the voice acting, for the most part, is really well done. The motion capture is really well done. And actually fighting out in the world is a lot of fun. And you control these, different kinds of basically mech suits. Whether you're the big-ass Colossus or the smaller ones, you still feel like you're powerful. And it's fun to just jump in with... Like, I've had no problem with matchmaking. Just jump in with people, do a mission, go back. It's just... The grind is awful. And spending more time in the main city when you're walking very, very slowly to walk and talk about a story you don't care about. Like... You can tell a story great, but the story can also be really boring, and that's where we are with Anthem. And like I've said, it's going to take something like a Taken King style expansion content update for people to come back to it and really give it its just due and kind of fix some quality of life improvements. The question is EA going to give them the time to do that? And I don't think that's the case.
I don't know either. That's
they may cut bait, especially now that this is just more bad press on not only BioWare and Anthem, but for EA.
Yeah.
Because again, EA is the parent company of this, so it goes up the chain to EA.
Yep.
And at this point, when people are looking for reasons to crap on EA,
yeah, absolutely,
this is just another gun in the barrel. And it sucks because, like I said, that game is actually a lot of fun once you get underneath all the bull crap to get there.
I see your point. My point, though, is that are people going to be willing to, A, risk damaging their console, and B, digging through all the stuff that isn't fun to get to the fun bits?
Sure.
And I don't think that people are right now.
And I think this is why something like if you have a product like EA Origins Access Premier or whatever, you're on the PC like I am, and I didn't pay anything extra to play Anthem. I pay $15 a month and I have access to Anthem.
Sure.
So I think that's where a service like that really helps. I was always, people who are unsure about Anthem can at least try it out. And there are many ways to play Anthem, either on Xbox or PS4 or PC. And did they say a number on consoles that are getting bricked by this? Is it enough to warrant a news blast? But
right, I haven't seen it yet. It got reported on by Jason Schreier of Kotaku, so that's.
But you gotta wonder, like,
can't get much bigger exposure than that.
Sure, but we've always heard when new consoles launch, like the Xbox 360 red ringed and all that stuff. But how much was the percentage? Sure, it was a bigger amount than usual, but still, it's like. A big amount is 10-20%, which is still a lot of quantity.
I don't think.
Yeah, the percentage is low.
I don't think it's at that percentage yet. But with that being said, it's still more bad press for a game that has not earned a lot of good press.
Sure.
And I don't know. To me, it spells disaster. I think we're just about. We're not quite at Fallout 76 levels of disaster yet, where everything has gone wrong, but nothing is really going right for this game.
Well, I think the one thing that BioWare is doing is at least being transparent, and they're saying here's what we're working on, here's our roadmap going forward. Whereas Bethesda was always accused of, hey, you're keeping stuff secret, but we don't know what you're doing. Like, this game is broken, but the things you're doing to fix it aren't fixing the issues, and we don't know what you're doing. At least BioWare is aware of what's going on and making it known that, hey, we know what's happening, we're working on this.
Yeah.
Communication is always key with in the gaming world, especially with something like this that was so highly touted that has not been performing well. So I'm sure my prediction is now out the window from earlier this year.
Which one was that?
Well, I get Game of the Year awards. It might get soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
it might get soundtrack of the year. It's really, really good.
That's all right. We all put ourselves out there with something.
I wanted to give them faith because there was, there's a lot of there was a lot of like back then. There is stuff to like now. It's just, man, some of it is really just bogging my experience down. But I want to see that. I want to see Anthem in a month, 2 months down the road, and see I want to see it progress, and then we can start talking, okay.
Does BioWare still exist, though, a month or 2 months down the road?
Obviously, we hope so, because BioWare is capable of making wonderful products.
Right, because it's not just Anthem. I mean, BioWare also messed up Mass Effect 3. Everyone... There was the big ending controversy with Mass Effect 3.
Yep.
So that was kind of the beginning of Jacob's troubles, and then after that was... Mass Effect Andromeda.
Well, even Dragon's Age, like the Dragon Age Inquisition, was a good game. It's just
I forgot about that.
It didn't hold up to the Dragon Age Legacy, and I think they still run Star Wars Old Republic online.
I think so.
I think that's still going.
Yeah.
But, BioWare just needed to catch a break, and this is the last thing they needed was the report of bricking PS4s.
We'll see what happens. If they survive the end of this month, I think they'll be okay. But this is the last month of the fiscal year for every company out there. So
again, I would.
If they're going to get the axe, I think they're going to get the axe. By the end of this month.
I would not be surprised if BioWare somehow ends up under Microsoft's umbrella by the end of the year.
Well, that's a possibility. You never know. Papa Phil's got that cash.
Yep.
Speaking of Anthem, apparently a streamer, I think it's XGlad if I'm not mistaken, he has been banned from Anthem for the terrible act of farming.
Like a loot cave.
Yes, like what we saw in the original Destiny.
Yeah.
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 What do you think of that? Because he's not cheating against other players. He's just exploiting.
He's playing the game, and
that's part
of the game.
Right.
Yeah, that's uncalled for. Who banned him? Was it a BioWare call down? Was it EA call down? Or was it Twitch itself?
It was BioWare.
Okay. Yeah, not cool. Look, it's part of your game. You didn't fix it. That's on you.
You don't need to have more bad press like this. So
go with it. Do what Bungie did. Just say, hey, okay, we recognize it. Cool. Do it till now, and then we're gonna cut you off. Do that. Don't don't just.
What is next for BioWare? Is it a Ask Me Anything on 8chan or what?
God, I hope not. I think they need to do damage control, and I think some sort of big patch needs to start coming now. Obviously, they're working. They have to be working on one. So I imagine maybe get some small patches out there just to say, hey, we don't know, we're working, we're not abandoning you guys. So just some small quality of life tweaks, but then hit that big patch, hit that big content patch that may end up saving your game.
I think you're right on that. I think also some free content, like free skins or something, would help.
Free in-game currency or some here's a loot box or sorry, it's a faux pas term.
Not in EA's parlance.
Sorry, but here's some free loot. We've got this cool color or this little ornament for your.
We don't have loot boxes in Anthem. We have goodie bags.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you word it. But no, we give something for your mechs or something. Even a credit to the store. Just saying here's like $15 towards the purchase of something else in the EA store. This as a way of saying sorry, but who knows? I don't know. Like they're in a crossroads right now, and they need to choose wisely, or else this will become a disaster.
Where do you see Anthem by the end of 2019?
I still want to give it hope. I still want to say it's on its feet. I don't want to. I don't think it will be as big as, let's just say, Destiny. I don't think it's going to be that big. Which people say, oh, Destiny's not even big. It was. When Destiny was at its peak, it was big. It was huge.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think Anthem will get that big. I think it will be on its feet and stable, and like as far as a rating would concern, I would put it like in the 7s or 8s. It's like, oh, okay, it's a fun game to go back to every now and then, and I don't see it, rocketing off in the stratosphere.
You know what they need to do is examine what Ubisoft did with Rainbow Six, because that one, I mean, it didn't have as nearly a rocky launch as Anthem, but it kind of came out and it was just like, this is all right, but it's quietly improved the game to such a degree that it's like a huge game that still has a robust online community. It's like quietly huge.
They got a new big content patch coming out very soon. They got 2 more operatives they're adding to it. So this game has been going to 2014, 2015.
Yeah,
like and it's still going strong. Like it's always like it's the game that's always be there.
Right, it's under the radar.
Yeah, is this a bad? Oh, sorry. Hi. Oh, my darling. Is this a bad press or still press situation because they aren't doing anything?
It's just the game is not great.
Yeah, and like I said, there are that creamy center that's good in Anthem.
Tell me about that creamy center.
It's
not coleslaw cream.
It's like when you roast a marshmallow just right over the campfire and you push the s'more together and it just oozes out.
Careful, we're gonna get into an HR issue here.
Sorry, but no, there is stuff to like about Anthem, and the core of it is fun. It's just you gotta dig through the crap to get there, and that's what. I mean, again, the biggest thing for me was load times were horrible when the game launched. I haven't checked recently to see if they're getting better, but when the game launched, even in early access, quote unquote, for Origin Access Premier people like me. Hashtag humble brag. It was load times were horrible, and it took me out of the entire experience. Wow. But again, there's stuff to like. It's just
yeah, they got to dig through all that stuff.
But I think BioWare will get it. I mean, if EA keeps BioWare on board, they're going to get it right. I don't think they're just going to abandon the project.
Okay. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully they can right the ship, improve upon the game, and eventually it will become a worthwhile experience.
Just stay transparent.
Yeah.
BioWare just needs to stay open.
The question is, will fans stick with it long enough to be willing to give it a second chance?
We will see when Destiny 2, or not Destiny 2, but Division 2 comes out, and here in a couple months, my time will be taken up by a little more Combat 11, but that's okay.
Well, let's move on here.
Yes.
Let's get in the world of clickbait.
Oh, yeah?
The Escapist magazine apparently yesterday published a piece asking whether or not photo modes in games are a good thing. Their argument was that it's a terrible thing because people stop to take photos and it takes them out of emotionally impactful moments, as they put it. Obviously, this is a ridiculous hot take.
Sure.
Because photo modes are completely optional. No one's forcing you to use photo modes.
Yep.
Nobody has to pause in the middle of it. Nobody's forced to pause in the middle of their game and take a photo or anything.
I'll come back to that.
Do you think that this... Obviously, this is an asinine article to even write and even have published. Do you think that these clickbaity hot take articles have finally gone too far?
Yes.
Because it feels like this is prevalent now in the gaming press.
The only reason why I say you're not always forced is sometimes, like in a game like Spider-Man, one of the collectibles is to stop and take a picture. So
but that's an optional mission.
Sure it is, but if you want to get 100%, you better do that.
Well, yeah, but it's still optional.
Sure, but I'm with you. Is that, does every game need a photo mode? No. But photo modes have become they've become so enjoyable. The Switch has a dedicated photo button.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can, like, in the social media age, we want to share what we're doing. And some people don't want to share via live streaming on Twitch or wherever they want to. So share a photo on Facebook or Twitter, just saying, hey, this is a cool thing that happened. Appreciate what's happening in the game. Like, I can't tell, like, even when I'm playing Spider-Man, like, how fun is that photo mode? It might be the best photo mode in gaming.
I love it.
Because, first of all, the game is gorgeous. But all the filters and, like, the stuff, do people not use Snapchat? Like, Snapchat in the real world is everywhere, like it or not. And even this TikTok thing, which I
don't even want to know what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that one. But we're seeing that mimicked in gaming. And again, not every single, even the PS4 controller, share button.
Yeah.
Right there. You can take a photo right there. It's part of gaming, and we need to appreciate, again, like you said, no one's forcing me to take a picture.
Exactly. I love photo modes. I've
Yes.
spent so much time in Spider-Man's photo mode, Horizon Zero Dawn's photo mode, freaking every racing game that's been out since Gran Turismo.
Oh my god.
Because I appreciate nice graphics,
Sure.
I appreciate the work done on engines, and I've come from an old school gaming world, so I still appreciate this ability to like look at this amazing character model with all these insane texture details and everything, and I like fooling around taking photos. It's just an artistic thing for me to do.
Photos in games dates back all the way to the Atari days. I mean, you had to, when you completed a game and you wanted to get the high score patch, you took a Polaroid picture of your TV with the high score on it and sent it into Atari and got your patch. But yeah, it's people worked really hard to make beautiful games, and it give me the option to stop and enjoy it. God forbid, right?
What an asinine attitude for this person to take, this writer. He's basically saying, no, you can't enjoy a game how you want to enjoy a game. You must enjoy a game how it's dictated to you.
To each their own. And
what is this totalitarian mindset that's taking hold of how we should play games?
If you don't want to use the photo mode, then don't use it.
That's
I don't know,
a libertarian outlook on it. I mean, that's what
that's
a natural.
My end of article is: if you don't want to take a picture, then don't.
Yeah,
and just play the game.
It's ridiculous that article even got published. So, anyway, let's move on.
I'm sure there are ways where you could abuse that feature, though.
Yeah,
I'm sure, like if it's part of the core game, like a Pokemon Snap. Can you imagine that, like on a Switch?
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, I can't believe that has not come out on Switch.
I know. I would love a Pokemon Snap 2 on Switch. Give it time. Maybe when the new model comes out, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are ways where you could, drag that process out and make it just mundane and horrible. But until I see it, I don't got nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just indicative of this weird clickbaity article culture that sprung up in gaming press. I roll my eyes at the amount of articles that have the word problematic in the title. Oh, is something so-and-so in Red Dead Redemption problematic? Oh, is liking this old game and is Final Fantasy VII actually problematic?
Is that the buzzword now?
Yes, that's the buzzword.
Try to put that in my daily vernacular.
Yes, don't. Actually, I'll roll my eyes.
I won't. Okay.
Anyway.
Go figure.
Let's move on here. Games Pass.
Yes.
On Switch.
Yes.
So this is like a foregone conclusion now.
Sure.
That Games Pass is going to be coming to Switch.
Xbox Game Pass, we're talking here.
Right. Xbox Game Pass on Switch, because Microsoft is doing that talk at Game Developers Conference later this month about the SDK coming to iOS and Android and Switch. And now with the whole partnership thing that's been going on, the buddy system between Microsoft and Nintendo. The natural conclusion now is that Game Pass is coming to Switch.
Yep.
So now I see people who are on Twitter talking about, oh man, I can't wait to download Forza on my Switch. And I can't wait to download Halo on my Switch. And I'm like, hold the phone here, people. Have you forgotten the limitations of the Switch?
Sure.
What are the reasonable expectations for Game Pass on
Which is
Switch?
why I think this will come with the next iteration of the Switch.
Exactly.
And I think you're not going to see it on this current Switch platform because you cannot run Forza Horizon 4 on this Switch. You cannot run Gears of War 4 or Gears of War 5 on this Switch. So when the next Switch comes out, weirdly enough, you're going to see Microsoft on that stage going, oh, by the way, here's Game Pass on this new Switch. And it's going to blow people's minds.
Yeah, and it is something that's going to happen, and I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it comes until the next iteration of the Switch. Because they're at least the download capabilities. Now, on the current version of the Switch, we could have streaming. But with that being said, I don't think streaming becomes a thing for Game Pass until 2020 at the very earliest. Because remember, streaming, it's been announced, but it hasn't been tested yet from Microsoft. So they're not anywhere close to being ready to roll this out. You've got to go through a test to test and see if it's viable, and then you can take a look at rolling it out on PC and Xbox and then Switch.
And we know that Nintendo, right now, their online structure needs some work. And
that's the other thing.
Microsoft is just going to come in to kind of, I don't want to call it a broken system, but going to come in with a system they need to make functional. Plus the idea of you run into the limitations as far as the internal memory on a Switch. You know, they're like Halo 5 at this point is like over 100 gig. So if you want to have Halo Infinite on the Switch, first of all, you're going to need a lot of SD cards. And streaming, if you're taking the Switch on the go with you, you're not going to always be near Wi-Fi. So now do you also sell a data plan like what the Vita did? Like there are many questions with, you know, the idea of streaming an Xbox Game Pass thing to a Switch as far as just, you know, internet-wise that I have questions on.
Right. And then Ultimate Fanboy in the chat watching us on YouTube. What's up, Ultimate Fanboy?
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, says the Tegra X1 or X2 can't run Game Pass games natively. Yep. Absolutely right.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe Microsoft does like different versions of Game Pass for different platforms. I think that's a lot more trouble than it's worth for Microsoft to do that.
And to be fair, I don't think you're going to see Halo on a Switch. All I'm saying is that these big games, you know, on the Game Pass, I think they may have different versions of the Game Pass. Where is there a Nintendo section where here's Mario Maker 2 on the Switch because we can do that? You know, I don't know.
I think what people need to focus on right now is less Game Pass being on Switch and more crossover games coming to Switch.
Sure.
I have heard for over a year, Sea of Thieves.
Yep.
My God, Sea of Thieves is coming on Switch.
Yep.
And I had a debate with somebody today. It was like, there is a reason, if you read my predictions article, there's a reason why I was saying that Xbox games were going to come to Switch, but I purposely omitted Sea of Thieves. I put in Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which now is like, now that's like an accepted rumor that, oh my God, Ori is coming out. Everybody's reporting on this. And I was the first one to mention this back in January of this year. Now, I didn't mention this based off of any inside info or anything.
Right.
I just, the only thing that I was going off of was what would logically work on Switch, what would be a good fit for Switch, and then the president of Moon Studios said that there was still a secret yet to be revealed about the game that would shock the industry.
Sure.
So putting those pieces together is what led me to say, okay, I think Ori is coming to Switch.
Right.
And now it looks like we're on the cusp of seeing that become a reality.
Sure.
I had heard Sea of Thieves for a long time. And I don't think that Sea of Thieves is possible because Nintendo Online is not in a state that could really support a massively multiplayer online game like that.
Sure.
Just with the infrastructure of Nintendo Online.
Yep.
Plus, Sea of Thieves is a game that relies on voice chat.
Yep.
And there's no viable voice chat solution except through the weird cell phone app.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, so that kind of knocks Sea of Thieves off. And then Sea of Thieves, at a minimum, is a 60-gigabyte game.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen on Switch.
Right.
So that's why I omitted Sea of Thieves from that predictions article as just not viable. And I said, oh, well, Ori makes sense because of all the things that I just listed. So I think you need to look at what Xbox games would make sense coming over to Switch. So Ori, Cuphead both make a lot of sense.
A lot of the indies make all the sense.
Right.
Yep.
But I think where the real story is what's the quid pro quo? Because so far it's all been, oh, what's Microsoft bringing to Nintendo? Now, if this is a partnership, if this is, them getting buddy-buddy, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, there's got to be, as Kratos and Kang from Simpsons would say, there has to be an exchange of protein strands. That's a really bad joke.
Digging for that one.
Yep. Anyway, there has to be a quid pro quo. There has to be something going over from Nintendo to Microsoft. That is where I think people really need to be digging in. That's where I think people are going to find the nugget.
And I think the answer is going to lie in this next version of the Switch.
I think you're right. As far as what I think could be going over to Xbox, I think Bayonetta makes sense.
Yeah, you're not going to see Mario on an Xbox anytime soon. I don't think. That'd break my heart.
Anything's possible. That
would break my heart as a gamer.
But in the immediate future, I think I would look at Bayonetta. I would look long and hard at Bayonetta.
Sure.
And there was also a rumor earlier this week, like a screenshot popped up of like a mixer screen on Xbox, or like some banner that was displayed on Xbox that had like a Splatoon 2 character. Now, I didn't quite make it out in the screenshot that I saw, but maybe something like Splatoon goes over.
Or ARMS.
The
sequel for that.
Yeah.
Or maybe this upcoming Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 makes its way over there, where that franchise goes back, on both. But
sure. So I don't see like huge Splatoon's actually a huge marquee franchise.
Yeah, it is at this point. Yeah.
But I think those are the things that I would look at right now, as opposed to Game Pass, which I don't see happening on Switch until 2020.
Yeah,
at the earliest. But that's just me. Anyway, Ultimate Fanboy says, "How about Nvidia for game streaming?" I'm not sure. I know Nvidia has like a game streaming platform, but from everything that I've heard, it's not that great.
Well, I think he's referring to us, referring to the Shield. I think I could be wrong on that. Right. But I've not had a chance to mess with the Shield that much. But oh, Boo Boo, what's up, Boo Boo, with the lurk? Thank you very much.
We'll take a lurk.
Good to see you again, Boo Boo. Good friend of mine.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me with the Switch is that if you're going to stream, you got to find solid internet the entire way through. And the purpose of the Switch is to go on the go, and you're not always going to be on free Wi-Fi when you're out and about. So we'll see. I mean, this Microsoft Nintendo partnership is a lot of questions, so we'll see.
Yep, and I don't think we see a lot of those questions answered till E3. But anyway, for all of you out there in TV land, I would look at crossover franchises before I start looking at Game Pass.
Hey, Banjo will find it back on the Nintendo platforms.
I dropped a little hint about Banjo. I dropped a little hint about Banjo in that predictions article. If y'all go back and read it.
I didn't even plan that segue.
Let's see. Remember the SCD rumors from 2016 using cloud-based technology? So that was a separate computing device is what he's talking about. So that's basically like another processor hooking into the dock. Is that correct? I think that's what it was.
We'll get notified here in a little bit. Running a bit of a delay.
Yeah. I think that's what they're talking about. It was like a separate processing unit that connects into the dock. I don't know. I don't know if I see that. To me, that smacks of Sega Genesis 32X.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you don't want that type of situation. To me, I would just say I don't release an add-on. You just release like a premium model of the Switch. That's what I would do, personally.
And the last thing I want to do is bolt more stuff onto my Switch.
Right.
So...
But who knows? God only knows.
Nintendo's been known to bolt stuff on their systems.
There's rumors going around that their VR technology is going to be based on Labo.
Okay.
That would be horrendous to me.
Yes, it would.
Can you imagine putting together a VR cardboard VR?
But what I will say is that if
I got paper cuts all over my face,
I would hope they don't use actual cardboard, but perhaps a nice cheap plastic.
I don't think they're gonna do that because that's gonna cost 5 cents per sheet as opposed to cardboard, which is 2 cents per sheet.
Well, either way, this is very.
Oh man!
If I were Dave Bowser, I would be really contemplating my next words.
It's like Kmart VR. Oh man! Huh. With that being said, tomorrow Nintendo Direct announced, and it's Labo VR.
Yeah, you watch.
Yeah,
knowing us, on the cusp of knowing everything.
Speaking of Nintendo Switch,
are we?
We're at our last segment for the night.
Okay.
The Switch, just this past Sunday.
That's very true.
On the 3rd, Ultimate Fanboy says Nintendo is the king of the left field. Anything is possible.
When the Wii first got announced, it was out of left field.
Truer words never spoken.
Yeah. They could surprise us. They have before.
Right. The Wii was out of left field. The Switch was out of left field.
When the Switch came out, we all were like, what the hell is this? And they came out like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Wii U was tanked, but it was an interesting concept that gave us Mario Maker 1, which made me very happy, and I can't wait for Mario Maker 2. June for Mario Maker 2.
I know, right?
I cannot wait. Oh my god, my year is made with Mortal Kombat and Super Mario Maker 2.
You know that's going to be so heavily tied into Nintendo Online. That's not a problem for you. You have Nintendo Online.
It's true.
I haven't done it yet.
I like playing my Smash.
If Chrono Trigger's a launch game for Nintendo Switch Online's Super NES lineup, then I'll day one it. I'll do it.
Can't wait for Animal Crossing.
I'll turn to the dark side.
I like Animal Crossing.
I don't like
it. I know you don't. You told me about how much you don't like it, but I do like it. Just don't rain on my parade.
You know, it'd be cool if they did like some MMO elements.
Sure.
Yeah. Just like make it a vibrant town.
There are plenty of free-to-play MMOs out there. I mean, Warframe being one of them, but there are plenty. I think that's already on the Switch. But there are plenty of MMOs that you could do with hopefully this next generation of a Nintendo and Microsoft partnership could pull that off. Like it can. I know Blizzard's not involved here. Can you imagine? Blizzard has Diablo on the Switch. I would assume the next generation would have Overwatch on the Switch. Can you imagine, though? Not going to happen. But just, could you imagine like a World of Warcraft style thing on the Switch?
That would be awesome. Could you imagine like a Pokemon MMO on the Switch?
Like a Pokemon Snap MMO.
Just a Pokemon MMO.
Sure.
That would be amazing.
Fully realize what Pokemon Go was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And finally fully realize that.
That would be sweet.
But
Ultimate Fanboy, you're a good friend of the show. What do you want to see? What do you want to see from Nintendo? Do you want to see like an add-on for the Switch? Do you want to see a Switch Pro? What do you want to see? I want to hear.
Mario Maker RPG. No, Mario RPG 2.
Yeah.
Basically with the Mario and Luigi series.
You know, another thing I would watch.
A proper console Mario and Luigi game would be great.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
With all of these rumors about Switch Mini that have been flying around, which I think are true. I think they're going to release a handheld version.
Dockless version, sure.
Yeah. What I'd be watching for is watch for a Let's Go, like a Pokemon Let's Go patch.
Sure.
Watch for that. Watch the patch notes. Because if they release a patch, and in the patch notes it says something about patching in something where you don't have to use the Joy-Cons.
Okay.
Then you know, there's your sign.
Okay.
Just like that patch from like a year or two ago where they patched in support for the GameCube, that adapter.
Yep.
That was on the Wii U. They patched support in for that for the Switch.
Sure.
It's like, okay, there's your sign. Smash is coming this year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
So that's what I would watch for. All right. Switch on Sunday turned 2 years old.
That's amazing to me.
Happy birthday, Nintendo Switch. I forgot I was going to buy a cake for the Switch, and I was going to see if the Switch would eat the cake. And then
I wouldn't try it.
I was going to eat the cake.
Okay, there you go.
I'm getting chubby.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
What?
How are we so different in life?
I don't understand.
Huh.
At least we both pull off pink very well.
This is very true.
Yeah.
This is very true.
Anyway, what in your mind has been the impact of the Nintendo Switch on the video game market?
And I think it really saved Nintendo because the Wii U really put Nintendo in a hole.
Yes.
There are great games on the Wii U. We're playing them now on the Switch.
Exactly.
And I think the Switch has saved Nintendo. There's no way around it. And the fact that we got one of the greatest games ever made, period, with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh my gosh.
Is just top to bottom gorgeous. I have some frustration with it, but it's one of the best games ever made.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Nintendo can make amazing first-party games. Mario Odyssey. I got emotional playing that game because there's my love of this
New Donk City.
And just like that whole ending sequence with.
I haven't seen the end yet.
I wish you would get there already because it's amazing. And like Splatoon 2, and I mean ARMS didn't do great, but it's a fun little thing. The Switch made Nintendo fun again. I think the Wii U was just kind of trying new things, and then it didn't work out outside of Mario Maker. But I think Nintendo hit a home run when they really desperately needed one.
Right. As Ultimate Fanboy said in the chat, Nintendo is the king of left field, and it was a huge risk for them. And we're still seeing whether or not it's going to pay off. But it was a huge risk for them to say, you know what? We're going to unify our handheld and our normal console teams. We're going to unify them into, one machine.
Sure.
This is it. It's a hybrid machine, and this is all we have. We're not going to do, we'll let the 3DS live out the rest of its life, but it's all on Nintendo Switch. That's a huge gamble to make, and so far it's been pretty successful.
Hi, Lucky.
Hey, what's up, Lucky?
Good to see you, honey. The 3DS definitely helped Nintendo, because that was coming out around the time when the Wii U was coming out.
Well, it definitely saved Nintendo during the Wii U years.
Sure did. It definitely kept them afloat because Nintendo is the king of handhelds. Have always been through the Game Boy. Let's not talk about Virtual Boy, but Game Boy throughout they have been the kings of the handheld market. Now the kings of the handheld market are smartphones, so they had to figure out what do we do to. Because we're going to lose this fight with cell phone. Every single person, every kid, their target audience, their demographic, has a cell phone.
Yeah.
Which is sad in this society. And probably shouldn't have one because TikTok exists. Anyway. But as far as consoles go, they needed to hit a home run. Because they could not do a Wii U 2 and survive.
Right.
So the Switch
came out. They couldn't do like a regular television console.
And they took a huge risk because they could have alienated their entire handheld fan base by making another handheld that's also a console. They could have really easily just imploded by releasing one thing that's trying to serve both fan bases.
Well, I think it's really changed the expectations of how we play. Now it's a normal thing to expect to have a console experience wherever we go. And I think that as the success of the Nintendo Switch has ironically opened the door for this whole concept of shifting the industry over to streaming.
Sure.
Because, that's going to be the ability to take your whole console experience wherever you go. And I think that first started with Nintendo Switch, which is, funny because that's going to be Switch's main competition is streaming.
Right.
Going forward.
And now you look at all the patents that Sony has filed. And it sounds like they want to just make a Switch.
Right.
And it's just like the impact is not only with gamers, but within the industry. They're going, oh, crap. It made them took notice for the first time, probably since the first Wii, with motion controls. Because you saw everyone fall in line with the PS Move, and the Kinect came out, and then everyone just saw, oh, this is not a good idea. Because it wasn't a good idea. But Nintendo is setting the standard now. Nintendo's always ahead of the curve. Say what you will. They are ahead of the curve.
It's so weird, this dichotomy they have between being a really conservative company and being a radical game-changing company. As, again, Ultimate Fanboy said, anything is possible with Nintendo. They're so out of left field, but at the same time, they're so conservative and slow to move, it feels like, within the industry. But then it's out of left field to come up with a brand new concept that just redefines how we interact with games, whether it's something like the Wii with motion controls or the Switch with the ability to take your full console experience on the go. It's just, and even before that, they tried Virtual Boy, which didn't do very well, but they also introduced us to the idea of portable gaming with the Game Boy and then 3D gaming with 3DS.
Yep.
they introduced analog controls with the Nintendo 64. That was Nintendo.
Yeah.
So for all the complaints with how Nintendo doesn't react, it's just so interesting just how at the force feedback.
Sure.
The Rumble Pack.
Yeah.
That was Nintendo. Before there was a DualShock or anything like that, Nintendo was doing that.
I will say, they did not see the forefront as far as internal memory. That was Microsoft.
That was Microsoft.
Or was that Sega? I want to say the Saturn had some internal memory, which may have came out before the Xbox. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, as far as hardware goes, Nintendo's at the forefront. Infrastructure-wise, they're really lacking. But as far as online is concerned,
it's funny how they have been kind of slow to adapt to like the HD era of gaming. Sure. They've had a lot of trouble adapting to that. They've had trouble adapting to online.
Yep. And they have the thing that Microsoft
like
and Sony don't have.
It's like if they're not pioneering it, they have trouble accepting it.
Sure. And what they have that Microsoft and Sony does not have, and Lucky touched on it, Nintendo can suffer through some bad times, come back with new Zelda, new Mario, and gamers lose their mind.
Right.
No matter what. You slap Zelda, you slap Mario, you slap Star Fox or Punch-Out or whatever their main franchises are, slap that on a box, it's going to sell.
Yep. Lucky had said in the chat, for those joining us later on in the audio version, Nintendo has the nostalgia edge. Everyone our age will just trust anything that they release. And that's very true.
Granted, we've been burned before by that, but overall, there's been more wins than losses when it comes to them. So I think, and you know, we keep asking, like, when does Mario become not relevant? When does Zelda become like not the thing? Not for quite some time.
Yeah, there's like
we trust them to make a good Mario game because it's Nintendo.
I've made the argument that Halo is not as relevant as it used to be.
Sure.
But Mario and Zelda are still at the forefront. Pokemon is still, Let's Go is, you can argue against its simplicity, but it's still a 10 million unit seller.
Sure.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
There's the Nintendo Touch. Splatoon has taken the world by... Splatoon should have been nothing. Splatoon should have been just a little fun little kids game. It's now like one of the biggest franchises that they have. It's now
especially
part of the Nintendo universe. Oh,
yeah. Did you know that Nintendo Switch is actually... if they have not done it yet, they will very soon overtake PlayStation 4 sales in Japan.
Yeah, I believe
Their install base will be greater than PlayStation 4 after 5 years of release in Japan, which is insane to me.
Yeah. But yeah, Nintendo can do that. The failure of the Wii U. Nintendo is the only company out of the big three that could get out of that hole. Yeah. Because Sony couldn't say, here's a new God of War. It's fantastic. But if they had a bad PS3, it wasn't a great PS3, but it wasn't a commercial failure. The Xbox 360 was not a commercial failure at all. So if they had bombed, there's a bigger problem there. They would take a long time to get out. Nintendo can get out like that with the thank you for the host.
Thanks for the host, Lucky.
And they won bit.
Hey, I've got a kind of a weird side question.
You do, yes.
Speaking of Xbox 360, because that was the leader last generation. Mm-hmm. It beat PlayStation 3 in unit sales, but here's my question.
Yes.
How many of those unit sales were people having to buy a second or even, God forbid, a third Xbox 360 because of the stupid Red Ring error?
I wouldn't think that much.
I don't know. That's like a 30% error, though.
Well,
that error was huge.
And how much of that was because they did what Sony... Like, Sony and Microsoft are smart because they can release better versions of the system. I mean, that Xbox 360 Elite came out. Everyone bought that. Because the bigger hard drive, first of all.
I would be willing to say if you took out repeat buyers, I bet PS3 ended up winning last generation.
Don't sit there and tell me that only reason people bought more Xboxes is because their Xboxes broke.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you had 30 million Xbox 360s sold and you've got 25 million PlayStation 3s that were sold. And I don't know if those are the numbers. I'm just using these as examples. And then you have 30, let's say 30% of your Xbox 360s were defective, and people had to buy a second Xbox 360. So that's not, when you sell that second Xbox 360, that's not necessarily a new customer that you're buying and expanding the install base. It's a new unit that you're selling, yes, but that's a person replacing a unit that they had already bought. So
I wonder how they
your
count that.
install base, I don't think they do.
I don't know.
I don't think they do. Anyway, that's just a weird tangent that I wanted to get off on.
The 360 is a good console.
It was a good console.
I remember where I was when I first got my 360. So
mine didn't break. I actually bought a refurbished Xbox 360 because I was poor, and I was like, I need a good value.
I don't think in my life. Okay, let's see. I've gone through. Let's answer the question here first. Most prepared for the next generation gaming?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm not prepared for it. I actually we'll down to that in a second. I went through like maybe 3 Xbox 360s just because I bought the Elite version to get the extended hard drive. I think I ended up buying the Modern Warfare 3.1 because I had like the special like noises, Star Wars style noises. But I went through maybe 2 or 3 PS3s because I bought the launch one so I can play my PS2 games on it. And I had to upgrade to get a better hard drive, and then you had to get away with the PS2. It was really bad. I've been through 2 OG Xboxes, maybe 3 PS2s.
Wow.
So we'll see what... I've only been through 1 Xbox One, 1 PS4, and 1 Switch.
Wow.
I'm still on my original ones.
Yeah, this generation's been much kinder to you.
Yeah, it has, which is good because they get more expensive.
Exactly. I'm lucky. I don't... The only problems that I've had have been with Nintendo systems, actually.
Yeah, you have.
Since they moved to manufacturing in China. They used to manufacture in Japan.
Sure.
And then they moved over to Foxconn in China, starting with the the DS, like the DS Lite, I think, was the first one. And I had a problem with that. Like the internet thing, the internet receiver went out on that, which caused the system to kind of brick. So I had to send that in and get it replaced. The power supply on the original Wii went out, and I had to get, and so that was bricked. I had to get that replaced. And then I had like a patch for the Wii U, like from Mario Kart or something like that, and like one of the buttons on the gamepad went out.
Sure.
So I had to get that replaced. Yep. So yeah.
But Switch no problems though?
Not yet.
Okay, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
There you go.
Anyway.
So, the question is, who is most prepared for the next generation of gaming? I still say Microsoft. And I think I say that because, you know, they're testing the waters with this supposedly new Xbox One S digital edition that kind of that's the next generation right there is streaming. So they're going to test the waters with this new Xbox One S, but all these acquisitions that they have to make them these AAA games, the thing that they kept getting criticized for was no, you know, first-party games.
Yep.
So they're buying all these studios and now partnering with Nintendo, strength in numbers, now that Apple's coming in, Google's coming in, Amazon's coming in. Strength in numbers is going to help Microsoft here immensely. So I think Microsoft is very, very much set up well for the future.
I agree. On paper, it sure seems like Microsoft's vision of the future. It feels like they've done everything right in preparing themselves for the future. And again, that's stuff that I read about around E3 last year. So, with that being said, though, Microsoft's downfall is that they have managed their stable of exclusives so damn poorly.
Sure.
Think about all the cool exclusives that Microsoft had back in the original Xbox generation going into 360.
Yep.
And like all of those studios and everybody that was producing those exclusives, they've all shut down. And what do we have now? We've got Gears of War, Halo, and Forza are your pillars, and all of those have been so oversaturated. You had, you know, Peter Molyneux's Lionhead Studios, or whatever they got renamed to when they were making Fable, and then that gets axed. So many other studios that Microsoft had.
If that comes back as a pillar. Fable can be a pillar.
What happened to... Well, Fable's coming back. Yep. Playground Studios, who make Forza Horizon, they're making that.
Right.
What happened to the studio that was making MechAssault? What happened to that franchise? There was so much potential in that franchise.
Yeah, there was.
What happened to the studio that was making Crimson Skies?
Isn't that just Microsoft Game Studio?
Yeah. Crimson Skies was such a great thing. Voodoo Vince was pretty good. What do they have? Blinks the Time Sweeper, which was okay.
I still say Brute Force, but I'm not saying it's a good game. I'm saying it's a first-party game.
But they could revitalize Brute Force into like a really cool esports title.
Hey, they got Battletoads coming back.
I mean, look at what they did with Overwatch. So they could do that with Brute Force.
Sure.
They can make Brute Force like a
free-to-play. I don't think they'll want to try imposing, because Overwatch kind of owns that right now, and everything is being compared to Overwatch. If you get anywhere near a hero shooter, it's Overwatch-like.
Right. But still, I mean, what I'm saying is that it's potential that Microsoft had that they don't have anymore, and which has precipitated their having to go out and buy so many studios. They've had to buy their way back. It's like a poker player. They had, they were down, and they've had to buy back into the game.
Sure.
So
they're buying some pretty good assets here. So I think they have the pieces there to make a good future run. Let's just see if they actually follow through on that.
Right. And with that being said, though, it's still anybody's ball game because we don't know quite what Sony has planned. We've got some ideas, and I'm willing to bet money that Sony's future revolves around full backwards compatibility.
Sure.
And if you go back and look at the original concept for Nintendo Wii U, it was called Project Cafe, and like all the controllers had screens and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're doing with Sony. I think we got to look at who Sony's going to partner with.
Sure. I think they're trying to put too much into one thing, but we'll see. E3 will add a lot. Even Sony won't be there. Sony will have a presence somewhere on their own. I think.
I heard someone mention that there's a possibility Sony could have like a conference like the weekend before or the weekend after.
I think I was the one that I guessed that.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Sony would have a presence right before E3, so they were when they was talking about.
So anyway, Ultimate Fanboy, to answer your question, on paper we think it's Microsoft, but God only knows.
We'll find out in a few months.
We're gonna find out later this month because Google's got their thing going on.
GDC.
Well, they've got their thing going on at GDC, and then it's crazy. It's crazy. This is the most insane I've ever seen the industry.
By this time, in 8 or 9 months, the gaming landscape will change.
Oh, it's
dramatically.
Yeah. Anyway,
yes.
Back to Switch Turns 2. Tell me. First off, did you have your Switch pre-order? Tell me your Switch purchase memories.
I know you had bought it day one.
Yes.
I was going to wait because I remember.
Oh, yes.
Just for financial reasons, I was going to wait. So I picked up Breath of the Wild on the Wii U because it's Breath of the Wild and I wanted it badly. But it was more the thing where I want to see the launch lineup for the Wii for the Switch. I wasn't completely sold yet. I finally bit the bullet and got rid of my Wii U, and because I really just wanted to play more Mario Maker. But I got rid of my Wii U and picked up my Switch. It's probably about maybe a month into the Switch's launch cycle, and so I'm like, I really just want to play Breath of the Wild, and I think I also picked up like Puyo Puyo Tetris and something else. But
I think it was Ultimate Street Fighter.
No, I don't think that came out yet. I don't think that was out yet.
All right. I know you got that soon after, and then
yeah,
immediately after you were like, "Why did I get this?
Why did I get this? It's Ultimate Street Fighter 2. I can play it whenever I want to." God bless it. But no, one of my first memories is Breath of the Wild and walking out of that first cave.
Oh yeah.
And just the slow pan title card, and my mouth just dropped. I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Even seeing it for the second time after seeing it on the Wii U, even better on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
I'm going like, this thing,
the Wii U version.
This piece of technology is unbelievable. Now I'm sitting there going, oh, it's in my hand. Oh, it's my TV. Oh, it's in my hand. Like going back and forth through all that. It's an amazing piece of technology, and that was very fortunate to get kicked off by one of the best games ever made. So
right.
I think starting out on a good foot is an understatement for the Switch.
Yep. That launch game can be so important. Breath of the Wild was so important. Maybe the second most important launch game ever.
Mario World.
No. Halo.
Mario 64 at least.
Halo. Halo was the most important launch game ever released. Because think about it. You are introducing a brand new company into the gaming landscape.
Sure.
Everything rested on having a big gaming hook, a big exclusive to sell that system, not only to sell the actual system itself, but to sell the concept of this company belonging in the gaming space along with Nintendo, Sega, and Sony.
Okay.
And that was Halo.
Okay, let me one-up you. When Sony first got into the business,
Yeah.
they not only introduced them as a company that could hang with Nintendo and Sega, they introduced the concept of disc-based gaming. And here came Crash Bandicoot.
Crash wasn't a launch game for PlayStation, if I remember correctly.
Oh? Now I gotta do a frickin' Wikipedia search.
But there were other disc-based systems that came before that. The 3DO was a disc-based system. You had Sega CD.
3DO was before PS1?
Yeah.
I think we've had this discussion before.
I think 3DO was 94, if I'm not mistaken. But you had like the PC CD drive.
But who had those? Like those?
No one had those.
Okay.
No one had those. But no, Sony popularized it. What Sony did was they introduced an inexpensive 3D synthesizer that developers could really. It was powerful enough for developers to really utilize and affordable enough for them to utilize.
Sure.
And, so I'm not trying to downplay Sony's contributions, but as far as a launch game to sell a concept, I think Halo just
Okay, so maybe not Crash Bandicoot, but maybe Ballerina Toshinden.
Oh, Toshinden was
which was the game that killed the Saturn.
Right, but if you go back, like if you look at Toshinden and compare that to Halo.
Oh, I agree. It does not hold up. I'm just saying it was an important thing for someone to have something like that could, before they're even out in the market, they already killed Sega.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they killed Sega with price and just like
the
potential.
Yeah, just better games.
Anywho,
but man, the Saturn's all right.
So
anyway, okay, fine. I'll say it because Halo was a damn good game. Halo is a genre-defining
everybody
game.
went to LAN parties where we were all playing Halo.
Halo defined what a first-person shooter on a console could be.
Yes,
because before that, first-person shooters were PC. It was Doom, it was Quake, it was Wolfenstein, it was all that, and then Halo said, "No, you can do it on consoles too." When
you wouldn't have had Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That phenomenon.
Yep.
You wouldn't have had that without Halo.
Yep.
Definitely. Halo introduced the melee.
Yep.
I mean, Halo introduced strategic cover-based shooting, which would later be capitalized by Cliff Bleszinski in Gears of War.
Sure.
Halo just... Oh, and the best part of Halo to me was playing the single-player campaign co-op with a friend.
Yep. Drop in, drop out.
That was so sweet. Yep. No, Halo was the best launch game ever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
My memories of Nintendo Switch's launch.
That's
the actual topic.
About an hour and a half here. We're
almost
talking
done.
Fools. Yeah.
We're almost done.
No.
My memory, anyway, I had that bad experience because I had my Switch pre-ordered from Best Buy.
I remember this.
And then, like, the Sunday before launch, Best Buy does this stupid thing where you put your deposit down, but they don't actually charge your card until they're ready to ship the system. So the Sunday before launch, they try to charge my card. They try to do this at 3 a.m. I have enough money in my account, but since it's a charge from Best Buy at 3 a.m., my bank is like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a second, what the hell? So they declined the charge. They declined, like, no input from me. They declined the charge, and Best Buy's system automatically says, oh, well, you're not letting us take our money, so your pre-order's canceled.
Right.
So I wake up to find this out.
Yeah.
And, of course, I can't reorder a Switch or anything from that, so I'm pissed off.
Yep.
Devastated.
Yep.
So I end up going to Walmart on launch night at midnight for the launch. And I ended up getting like the next to the last system, so I'm so happy about that. And then I ordered Zelda from Amazon, so I was waiting around all day for that to finally be delivered. Yep. But anyway, I didn't fall in love with Zelda until the next day. I was streaming it in the morning, and you're exploring around, and I get to this clearing, and one of those big ass rock monsters pops up.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So this is a surprise to me. Big thing pops up, and there's no like hand holding in this game. I got to figure out how to beat it, and I got to figure out how to do this with my own wits and everything. So eventually I figured, oh, there's that little thing up there. I can climb up this rock monster and just whip at it or hit it with an arrow and kind of bring it down. So that was the moment to me that made me fall in love with the game. And it was because it allowed you this freedom to discover things on your own that Zelda games going from Ocarina of Time up until Breath of the Wild just didn't let you do. They always had your little sidekick to make sure that you knew how to play the game.
Hey, listen!
So I really appreciated in that moment just how much Breath of the Wild was like, no, we respect your intelligence as a player.
Right.
You're smart enough to figure this out. You're going to figure this out. You're going to be okay. And if you can't beat this monster, you can run away. And then when you do figure it out, you can come back and beat him. So that was the moment to me that just really freaking made me love that game.
All the bits coming in. Thank you, Lucky, for all those bits.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
25 big bits from Lucky
Nice.
F627.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
I think when I was looking for my Switch, I think I had you and Justin like call GameStops around me trying to find it.
Oh, yeah. We were on the lookout.
You guys had said like, okay, it's gonna be in stores. I'm like, oh, like, fine, let's just go, let's just do it. I got my Wii U with me for some. I'm gonna pick it up today. You guys said it's back in stock. It's like a month or so into the life cycle. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna buy it. I don't know.
It was the right decision.
It was, because I was sitting on the Wii U, but again, I was on Wii U because of, Mario Maker and maybe some other, like maybe Splatoon 1, and I was like, okay, I gotta bite the bullet. Yeah, fine, let's go, let's do it. And I wasn't bought in yet, but I'm gonna get it anyway, so I might as well do it now while they have it. And
it's hard to imagine the industry without Switch in it at this point. And I cannot imagine what would have happened if Nintendo had just gone with another traditional TV-based console. Yeah. I mean, would it have had the same level of success that Switch has had?
I don't know. I think like the part of the appeal of Switch is taking it on the go, or like taking it, before you go to bed, play a couple of matches of Tetris 99, which I do on a regular basis now, and it's just fun to have it at your fingertips.
Well, not only that, but games get released now, and immediately people are like, I want a Switch version.
Yeah.
Because I want to take that on the go.
Yeah.
It's really changed the perception of how games are played.
It's just really been 2 years.
Yeah, that's the lasting legacy. Now, with that being said, year one was so much better than year two.
Agreed.
The hits of year one, you had Breath of the Wild, you had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you had ARMS, you had Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah. And then
was Mario and Rabbids that first year too?
Mario Rabbids was that first year. Yeah, so that's 7 freaking amazing games that came out. And I'm sure I'm leaving something out.
Sure.
And then the next year, you really didn't have much. You had like a Kirby game that came out at the beginning of the year, and then you had Octopath, which was a great game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then really nothing.
Until Smash.
Let's Go and Smash.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see a little bit better management of their software release schedule from Nintendo. I think that's the one thing that really has kind of hurt Nintendo.
Well, Ultimate says a year or two better than year one. Okay. We're listening.
Really?
We are listening.
I would say that you're a Smash fan then. If you are a big Smash fan, then yes, year two better than year one.
This is the best Smash game ever, period. That's my opinion. I know people who be like Melee. I'm like, I said Melee is... No, Ultimate's the best version of Smash.
Ultimate Fanboy also had said that I really wasn't hyped for the Nintendo Switch. I thought it was going to be Wii U 2.0. I'm glad that I was wrong. You know what? Oddly enough, I kind of shared that same sentiment.
Yeah.
I was not like super hyped for the Switch. In fact, I was going to kind of sit on the fence with it even after that Nintendo Switch reveal event in January. But I'll tell you what, Jeff,
oh yeah,
that damn Breath of the Wild trailer that they showed at the end of that event, like that stuck with me. And I was like, I gotta watch that trailer again.
Yep,
I gotta watch that trailer again. I watched that trailer so many damn times, and that stupid trailer, that freaking got me hyped for the for the game itself. And I was like, well, I'm going to get Breath of the Wild, so I guess I better get a Switch.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for that trailer, I don't know. I might have waited a little bit, but
now we get like the probably one of the biggest games on the Switch, definitely of this year, is Mario Maker 2. I mean, it's people are clamoring for it. I know I am, even if I won't. But I just wonder like how what made the first game so good was having the Wii U console on your hands while you were drawing with the stylus, and able to watch what you were doing on the screen. You don't have that option now. You just have the Switch in your hands.
Yep.
So of course you may still use a stylus or whatever to touch the screen, but the whole idea was but it's also answered the problems.
Touch that screen.
But like having it here and on the screen, so you can kind of go back and forth and see what's happening it was one deal. But so now how do you make it if the Switch is docked like with the Pro Controller? That might not be fun. But we'll see. I'm sure they'll find a way to do it. But my other thing is this will fix what was wrong with the 3DS version.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole promise was the whole promise was making levels on the go to upload them to the main hopper, which the 3DS for some reason you couldn't do. You can make them and you can upload them, but you couldn't search anything. I don't know if you could even share like friend codes. So you couldn't share the stage code with somebody, so they couldn't just find your game and play it. So it was really just a bad port of that game. So I think the Switch version will be what the 3DS version should have been. But I don't know. We'll see what the rest of the year holds for Nintendo, especially with Microsoft now entering their partnership.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for our Switch memories.
Yeah, it's a damn good console.
It's time to bring things home a little bit. Yep. You have been playing some Dead or Alive 6.
I have.
You say you got a problem with DOA 6.
I got a problem with DOA 6.
Is it with them those horrendous jigglies?
Nope.
Is Jigglypuff saying Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff? You're gonna have to call HR.
Yeah, I do. No, I mean, we got to play some at Evo last year, and I think we all came kind of positive on it. And it's a damn good fighting game. Like Dead or Alive is serious for me that I can enjoy Evo. I'm not taking it seriously. My serious fighting game is coming out next month. Okay, Mortal Kombat's coming out next month. That's my serious fighting game.
That's only a month away.
I know. Oh my God, Mortal Kombat and that Johnny Cage. Anyway,
Johnny Cage looks so good.
That trailer looks so good. That trailer was great for Johnny Cage. Anyway, I am really enjoying DOA 6 because it feels like it's a better game than DOA 5 was.
Sure.
It's a good feeling Dead or Alive game. There's a lot of content there to dig into. It's a lot of fun to play, and that soundtrack is gorgeous.
I like the beta a lot.
Yeah.
But what's your problem?
The business model yet again is just crappy. So I had pre-ordered the game, and 11:01 Central Standard Time, I hit the button to hit go, and it launched. I'm sitting there going, there's a lot of characters I haven't unlocked yet. What is I thought I get all the... I paid $60. I get all these characters. Why?
Oh,
so I'm thinking, like, are these part of the deluxe edition, and I just got screwed? No, it did the core fighters thing again. So you can do the core fighters for free, and it gets you more characters this time. Like it's maybe 4 or 5 characters. But I had to go back and actually individually download every character.
Oh, okay. You scared me for a second.
Right. No. It was just I didn't wait long enough for the downloads to happen.
Oh, okay.
Of course, you don't know that going in. I'm sitting there going, do I have to unlock them through the story mode? I don't think I have to. So I was confused at first. The deluxe edition, I believe it was $80, and will get you about, I think, 15, 20 more costumes and a character. You can play as Phase 4. So I'm missing out on an entire character by not spending 20
Oh, no.
Now, you can buy her separately, but I think that is fundamentally crappy to hide a character behind your deluxe edition. A Fighter Pass, I get.
Yeah.
Season Pass rolls around. I look at it.
And it's like $90, right?
For costumes. The Season Pass is $95, and you're getting costumes out of it. You might get, like, I don't know if it includes characters or not. I didn't read that far into it. But
you just gotta wait for... You gotta buy it on PC, and then you gotta wait for the modders to come up with mods for it. Of course, all the mods are gonna be, like, way too dirty.
In no world should a season pass cost more than the game by that much.
But people are buying it. That's the crazy thing.
And
Because they
that's
did that
dumb.
same thing with Dead or Alive 5, and it worked.
The business model is horrible. But I will say it's better at giving me fight money than Street Fighter V was. But
Oh, okay.
as far, if I were to, I can't really say that part affects my initial review of Dead or Alive 6 because it's a business model thing, not an actual game thing. And I'm enjoying the game. Like,
yeah, I was gonna ask if I'm not worried about dressing up my characters as scantily clad as possible, and I'll admit I usually am very worried about that. But if I'm not worried about that, the game itself isn't good.
And if you want to get your rocks off, there are plenty of costumes that you can actually in the game that you can buy with in-game currency.
Hot dog.
That will help you out. But no, it has one of the best training modes in a fighting game ever to me.
Yeah.
Because not only does it have like a combo challenge and like a training tutorial, it has a command input, so you actually can learn every single move, every single combo that character can do. And you just run through the list of all the button presses that every character can do. It's flawless. Like, it is a fantastic training mode. And when you go into what's called DOA quest, basically you're playing one-off matches where you have to complete certain quests. Will unlock costume parts to unlock the costumes in the game.
Oh, neat.
Which is kind of neat. Kind of a different layer they didn't need to have, but it's kind of a neat system. If you don't even know how to do a move, you hit the Y button or triangle button, it will actually take you to the tutorial to show you how to do it.
Okay.
It's that smart. It's like, okay, here's how you do this, hit Y, we will take you there so you can practice it before coming back into the quest mode.
It sounds cool. It's kind of too bad that it got left out of EVO.
It did, and I think that's just because many people just think DOA 6 is... People don't take it seriously.
Right.
And I think it's because of the
sexuality.
Sure, and it was at EVO Japan.
Oh, yeah, I think that might have killed their chances.
But I think it's just different audiences, and I think the Americans... I love the lineup this year for EVO in America.
It looks great.
I can't wait to watch Samurai Showdown and Under Night again, because I think that was awesome last year.
Under Night's such a great game.
But I will say, DOA 6, the story mode is very convoluted, as every DOA game is. The way they structure it's weird. Like, the timelines, you gotta go over... It's a bad story mode, but the actual core fighting and online I tried really didn't have any problems connecting and staying connected. So there's a lot to like about Dead or Alive 6.
It's a game I will eventually buy, but we had a little private debate, and it's just, to me, it didn't look like a game that I wanted to spend $60 on.
I needed a good, just kind of fun fighting game to kind of hold me over from Tekken into Mortal Kombat next month, and a little stopgap there. So,
well, I'm gonna try and get back into Dragon Ball FighterZ. The season pass was on sale, the first season pass. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it on that.
And some more Toe Jam and Earl.
Yes, and some Toe Jam and Earl, which is a fun game. I played it just like for a little bit on Friday night. I haven't played it since, but fun game.
Looks
if you
fun.
Haven't picked it up yet, just do so immediately, because we could all use a little bit more funk in our life.
And hey, the team is fantastic. They've been nothing but kind to us, and we're not just saying this to pit them out. The game is great. I'm glad it's back. Go buy it. It's on Switch.
Yep.
It's on PS4,
I bought it.
Xbox, Steam. Go pick it up. $20.
All right, we are at the end of our podcast for this week.
Yeah.
Jeff, tell us, where can we find you? Where are you streaming? What are you streaming?
Well, you can get all my Twitter thoughts and random dancing gifs over at the Jefferoth on... it's just Jefferoth on Twitter. Or at Twitch, at twitch.tv/Jefferoth. I got my Overwatch placement matches in last night, and forever bronze. But I'm gonna climb up the ranks this year, this season, I promise. So twitch.tv/Jefferoth. Check out the sweet artwork that our boy Miles made.
That's right. Hopefully we've got a new logo coming soon.
Yes, it's you saw the prototype. It's almost done.
Almost there. And then you can find me on Twitter at Dave the Watchman, and you can find me streaming right here at NerdBacon. And you can find more in-depth articles from me as I have time to write them, because I don't always have time to write. This is just my hobby.
We bring the bacon when we can, and we try to make this our full-time deal, y'all.
But check us out at NerdBacon.com for all sorts of awesome articles, not just by me, but by Jeff and a number of other dedicated writers.
They're wonderful. Throughout
the country and the world, actually. We've got
true.
a writer in Australia.
Yeah.
And she's so good.
Yes, she
so
is.
talented. My gosh. But anyway, we want to thank, oh my darling, ultimate fanboy, And Lucky F627 and everyone else who joined us, we want to thank you all for joining us, hanging out, and saying howdy in the chat. We always appreciate that. We try to be the most interactive talk show that we can be. We love hearing from you. We love getting you into the conversation, and so it's not just us talking at you.
Right.
Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit the like, that little thumbs up, that helps us out, and hit the subscribe, that helps us out as well. If you're listening to us via Anchor or any of the other podcast channels, be sure to like us or share us or do whatever you can to support us. If you don't like us, then, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, please.
Any constructive criticism is always welcome.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Anyway, for all of us here at NerdBacon, I'm Dave the Watchman.
And I am Jeff Roth, the one-winged gamer.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next Tuesday, same time, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on twitch.tv/NerdBacon, also Mixer, Smashcast, and YouTube. Until then, game tasty. Good night, everyone.
Peace.